Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. To simply ask the question, what is love, will then bring about almost an eternity of answers since man first began to think and philosophize. It's been at the centre of debate in all pagan religions and all the great monotheistic faiths. The subject of cheap greetings cards, jokes, songs, poetry, novels, and most drama. Ask 100 people the question, and it's likely that you'd receive 100 answers, all different. One of the problems with the question is that many people equate love with one form, romantic love, which is only a small part of the picture. C.S. Lewis, we recall, entitled one of his most celebrated books, The Four Loves, reminding us that according to Greek thought, there were indeed at least four. St. Paul in the 13th chapter of the letter to the Corinthians, the one we hear at almost every wedding, tells us at the end of that glorious hymn to charity or caritas, that in the end only three things endure: faith, hope, and charity, or love. And the greatest of these is love. The bride and sometimes the groom are usually teary-eyed at this point. The bridesmaids are rushing around with tissues, and the mother of the bride is close to a seizure as every ounce of emotion is squeezed out of her. However, if anyone at the wedding had actually been listening to St. Paul's words and their application to marriage, serious thought rather than saccharine tears would be the most sensible response. Paul's description of what love is, among other things, patient, kind, not ambitious, not self-seeking, delighting in the truth, begins to answer in a deeper and more profound way that fundamental question of the meaning of love. Perhaps it also answers why, at least to some extent, so many marriages fail, because so many of the actual attributes of real love are either not there, or one of the spouses is not willing to make the sacrifice of the self to allow love to grow. St. Paul, of course, when he's describing the attributes of love, is describing the attributes of the author of love, and the one he has come to know and love, the Lord Jesus himself. St. John, the beloved disciple who rested his head close to the heart of Jesus at the Last Supper, the heart which would be pierced on the cross for love of broken humanity, must have spent decades after the death and resurrection of the Lord meditating on the meaning of that love, both caring for and speaking with Mary, given to the beloved disciples' care from the cross, and with the community of disciples that gathered around John into his old age. His heart and soul, displayed in his gospel and letters, are suffused with the meaning of God's love. One of the most beautiful passages, and perfect in its concise definition of love, is in John's first letter, chapter 3, verses 16 to 18. By this we know love, he says, that he laid down his life for us. What is love, we ask? John tells us, that is how we know what love is, that he laid down his life for us. That's St. Paul's hymn to love, that's the meaning of the Gospels, that in fact is the good news. That definition of love then provides us with a lesson according to St. John. And we ought to lay down our lives for our brethren. But if anyone has the world's goods and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how does God's love abide in him? Little children, let us love not in word or speech, but in deed and truth. It doesn't get clearer than that. Brethren, rejoice, be perfected, be comforted. Be of the same mind, be at peace, and the God of peace and love will be with you.